So I'm doing something a little bit different this time. So if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur of any type and you're looking in Utah to maybe make your home or just do business, I want to actually introduce you to some local people that are actually working within this community, providing services. So I'm going to start with a local meetup here, and then I'll have a really special interview for you later on. You will not want to miss that. He's a really big personality. Everybody knows this guy. So let's check it out. Okay, I love getting involved with communities. We're at a local meetup where business owners are sharing their successes and how to work and overcome a lot of stuff. So I'm joined here by Tyler. So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to make Utah your home base and a little bit about the businesses that you operate.
Because I was born here, like this is where I'm from. So I grew up in Kearns and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love my business. I love making Utah beautiful with what we do.
And what are some of the businesses you, and I know it sounds like you got your hand in a lot of stuff. So what are some of the businesses that you have?
Gray's Handyman and Install is my main construction company. That business has a plumbing and electrical and a HVAC division. And so we do everything. I run under a handyman business, but I'm a general contractor. We do it all. And then we do dumpsters as well, and then sober living houses and give back to the community in the sober community. So.
Well, there you go. So this is the guy that you're going to go to. So if you need to get some electrical done, some plumbing, maybe you just need a dumper to clean out that house that you just purchased, Tyler's your guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And here's another entrepreneur for you. So we're joined with Mark with Generation Floors, right?
Yes.
Pleasure.
Nice
Thanks
to
to meet you. So tell us a little bit about your business and how do we get in contact with you?
Sure. Well, I'm a flooring company. I'm in Kaysville.
Okay.
My dad owned a flooring company in Bountiful, so I grew up with flooring under my fingernails. Literally grew up in it. He had me straightening samples in the showroom floor when I was in kindergarten,
right,
working for a dime a day, and he'd see me sitting on the on one of the samples, and he'd say, "Oh, there goes a penny," if I wasn't working. But I have my own flooring store now. I've got my son that works with me now, so it's and my daughter. So it's very much still a family business, and that's where I drew the name from. We got 3 generations of flooring people now that work there, and it's just been a great ride for me.
So tell me a little bit about. Obviously, you grew up here. What about Utah do you like, or maybe you don't like?
One of the things that I do like, I mean, it's a gorgeous state. You come up north and you've got the mountains, you've got the skiing, you've got the mountain biking, you've got trail running, anything that you want. And the lakes, boating. You go down south and you got the Red Rocks, you've got and all of the outdoor activity that you can do down there. It's just a gorgeous place.
Yeah. Well, there you go. For all your flooring needs, if you just purchase a house, this is the guy to call right here. Appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you very much. So when I think of entrepreneurs, if you don't know who this guy is standing next to me, you're probably missing out. This is the man, the myth, the legend, the Red Suite Realtor, and he's actually responsible for this little meetup today, brother.
Oh, stop talking about me. Yeah. This is about you, dude. I know. We're not talking about Suited for Real Estate Success. We're talking about Mr. Edward Fuller that's interviewing all these amazing entrepreneurs across the country.
Appreciate it.
And he's got this amazing YouTube channel that you have to check out. Go ahead, tell us about your YouTube channel.
No, I'm not. I'm the one interviewing.
No, I'm interviewing you, dude.
You're going to tell me why you chose Utah to actually set up and why you like working out of Utah.
I love Utah because I love people like Ed, that is just one of the best, most genuine dudes I know, and he's consistent. And so, look, if you're in that area down in Salt Lake and you need a good realtor, reach out to him right here. He's number 1 realtor. If he doesn't work out, I'll be number 2. But Ed is the man right now, just a good dude. You want to work with good people when you're making the biggest purchase you've ever done.
There you go.
So work with Ed, okay?
Well, I appreciate you.
Done.
As much as I love you,
That's all we got, man. Red Suite Realtor is a fraud, because this is brand out today. All right, we're going to go look at our flip right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you, dude. Sweet Burrito every Thursday since 2021.
There you go. So I am thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with a local luminary. This person has not only affected the community in a huge way, but he's also impacted the livelihoods in a great way for many, I'd say thousands of Americans. So I am joined by the one and only Sean Whalen, the man behind Lions Not Sheep. Brother, appreciate
What's up,
you joining
dude?
me. How's
Luminary,
things?
I like that. I'll take it. Luminary. It's better than other things people call me, so that's great.
I know you've been catching a lot of
I
flack.
catch a lot of shit. I welcome it.
So Lions Not Sheep, I mean, I feel like that's the main thing you're, not the main thing, but one of the things you're known for, but you obviously have a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the founding philosophy behind it and kind of how it shaped your journey and what inspired you to create the movement around Lions Not Sheep.
Lions Not Sheep didn't start as a movement. It didn't start as a book or an apparel company or a coaching company. I had Lions Not Sheep, the three simple words come to me after my divorce and bankruptcy almost 13 years ago, like one of the darkest periods of my life. Right. And it came to me literally as my own personal mantra. A lot of people don't know this. I've shared this quite a few times, but I literally wrote Lions Not Sheep on my bathroom mirror. It came to me one day, and for almost 2 years before I ever uttered it, spoke it, posted it, talked about it, it was literally my own personal mantra. And it quite literally was a way of being for me. I looked at my entire life up to that period of time and was like, all right, am I doing what I want to do, saying what I want to say, being who I want to be, or am I doing this for everybody else and doing, what I'm told and how it should look and all these other things? As it grew with me, as I started to talk about it, it obviously took on roots with a lot of people, and a lot of people resonated with it because it's simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 words. And it's funny because a lot of people say, well, lions are sheep. What does that mean? I'm like, what do you think it means? Yeah. They say, well, to be a lion, not a sheep. And it's a very literal statement that embodies a way of being. It's not we now have apparel and we have coaching and we have all of these other things that have grown from it over the last 10, 11 years. But it quite literally has an origin of just me being my own personal mantra and making a decision every day. Am I doing what I want to do, being a lion, because a lion does whatever the hell it wants, or am I being a sheep and doing what I've been programmed to do, saying what I've been programmed to say? Yeah, exactly. So that's really the origin and the beginning of it.
Yeah, it's super rad. So it kind of evolved, obviously. So now you're obviously, you're in the movement of empowering others. Your work clearly revolves around making individuals better and taking control of their lives. How do you guide people to break free from conformity and embrace, their inner lion, so to speak?
This answer might surprise you, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
I've literally physically can't change people. I can't make somebody do this or make somebody think this or make somebody believe this or make somebody, change their life. And for a lot of years, I didn't understand that. It was kind of like that. I'm gonna grab everybody and shake them and be like, hey, this is who you need to be and what you need to be. And I realized that my own personal journey was my own evolution. And it was me making daily decisions to be a better man, to be a better father, to be a better husband, me making my own personal declarations to God and moving in a direction that I wanted to move in. And so over the last couple of years, specifically as Lions Not Sheep has grown literally to millions of people around the world, tens of thousands of people that have come through our coaching programs and have spoken in front of, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I realized that the simplest way for me to be able to quote unquote help people and change people is for me to become the change that I want to see and that I want to inspire other people to see. And so it's quite literally leading. And that word for a long time was interesting for me because I would think about what's a leader, right? And you think about Leonidas and the 300 Spartans and
iconic.
It's really that scene in that movie really reframed that word for me because I looked at leadership as I'm going to bring all these people with me and I'm going to make all these people powerful and wealthy and all this other shit. And if you think about the scene at the well, when the Persians come into town, Leonidas pulls his sword out and he doesn't say anything. He's not like, all right, guys, we ready for battle? Let's go. Right. He pulls his sword out and his men instantly do the same thing. And so I really started to understand what leadership is and how to quote unquote change people and help people is by me doing it, me being it. It's me going from, divorced and bankrupt and miserable and depressed to not being that. It's me overcoming my own personal battles, my own personal shit. It's me building a business and having 5 kids and having a marriage and having all these things and literally embodying the person that I want to become. And so I feel like right now, like that's what's really great about Lions Not Sheep, and especially with social media. Social media has helped us really spread this message in this movement, is people get to literally see. They watch me and they're like, man, I remember when you were like divorced and depressed and now you're driving a Lamborghini. I remember when like, you know, you went through bankruptcy and literally lost tens of millions of dollars and, you know, now you're running multiple companies. It's kind of like, I'm watching all of this happen and it inspires other people. It motivates other people.
The beauty of it is they can see the timeline of everything too. They can go back and see
Totally.
exactly where you started.
Totally. And that's what's cool, I think, about when you talk about how do you help people and how do you change people, you really can't. But what I can do is be the best version of myself and show that version of myself to the world.
Right.
And that's what social media has afforded me and allowed me and given me and you and everybody the same tool is like, I give people my life. I give people the inside. Like I show them the good days and the bad days and the up days and the down days and the struggles with, you know, business or money or employees or scaling or growing. And I think that's what makes it really powerful in this quote unquote movement is people get to see it and they step back the same way I did, you know, 10, 11, 12 years ago and say, all right, I want more.
Yeah.
Like I want more. What do I have to do? And if he can do it, then I can do it. And then that bodes the question, well, what did you do? And that's kind of the cool part of now we get to work together. Now we get to like bring these systems and processes that I've found over the last 10 years and bring them to the marketplace and bring them to men and bring them to families and people. Say, hey, here's what I did. Try it. You know what I'm saying?
So I like that you said that because you're not only, so you're putting out their display, but you've also, it's shaped your progression by sticking to a certain set of principles. So what are those certain set of principles that kind of, you know, you live by or guide by and that really, not governs, but that you put into use every day?
So I learned about a process and a system called Core 4 from my coach. It's really fascinating, the origins of it, because Steve Covey talked about 4 core.
Yeah,
and,
four
you know,
core, that's right.
He talked about it. And then, you know, I learned it from my coach, Power, Passion, Purpose, and Production. And it, for most of my life, I was the guy who woke up, you know, I drank my cup of coffee. I went to battle and went to war and was like, all right, let's just go, right? And taking all of these things that were coming at me, trying to solve all these problems. And what Core 4 really did is it literally helped me govern my life. It became the framework, right? Like we as human beings, we sometimes love chaos, but if you're living in chaos 24/7, it'll kill you, physically, emotionally, spiritually, right? And so what Core 4 does, and I wrote about this in my book, is it gives me the framework. And I know that if I follow this framework every single day, that I will get a result in power, my body, passion, relationships, purpose, my mindset, my spirituality, and production business. And so that to me has become my guiding light. That has become not a program or a system or like, hey, here's your 4-hour work week or your 6-minute abs or your whatever. It's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's literally become my way of being. When I get up in the morning, like I know that I have this path to follow. And if I follow this path, there's going to be walls and bumps and roadblocks and I'll get off track a little bit, but it has literally become my map. And you've heard me talk about this a lot,
of course,
about having a map. And what we, specifically men, do is we don't like maps. We're like, fuck, I'm just going to go and I'll just run over this way and, you know, eventually get there. And along the process, we're banging and bumping and all this other stuff. And what a map really does, what Core 4 is it helps me when I get off track, get back on track. And ultimately, I have destinations that I want to go to. And really all I'm focused on is the next step to get me to the destination. And so Core 4 has literally become, it's what I've taught tens of thousands of people. Almost 1 million people have bought my book. And it's all I wrote about in my book is
how to make shit happen.
Core 4 is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it really cool is it's simple. We're trying to find complexity as human beings. Like, all right, what's the next gimmick or hack or 6-minute abs? That sounds great because I don't want to work more than 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But why don't more people have that? It's because they don't have a clearly defined target and a pathway to get there and a map to get there. And that's really what I have found in life is instead of just saying, I'm going to go make $1 million and then just ripping myself to shreds trying to do that, I say, well, how much do I have to make today in order to hit $1 million? And all I focus on is today.
Right.
All I focus on is the workout at hand. I don't worry about the workout next week or my abs tomorrow or my abs at the summertime. I just worry about my workout right here in front of me. I invest in my relationships here today. I don't wait for like the Super Bowl event to save my marriage. I work on my marriage every single day. You know, and I talk about in my book, eating the elephant. And for most of my life, I tried to eat the entire elephant. I was trying to eat 10 elephants, you know, and I never was able to do it. And so now what I focus on is just taking a small bite of the elephant every single day. And with enough time, I'll eat the whole thing. And so, you know, if you look at a 6-month window, I'll eat 2 or 3 elephants in that period of time while other people are trying to still eat the first elephant. Right. And it's simply just having that guide, that framework, that map of Core 4 that has given me the ability to achieve a lot more than I've ever been able to achieve in my life.
The elephant analogy, I love that one. So when you're looking at your success as a whole, obviously you have places you want to go. Do you ever find yourself where you get maybe into that gap, so to speak, where you've gained so much, but you know maybe you get into this portion and it puts you through the shit, so to speak?
Oh, dude, like every day. 2023 was that year. I mean, I don't think. Look, my good friend Andy Frisella, we were talking the other day, you know, and there's people on social media that want you to believe that life is just this mystical, magical, miracle land of bliss and happiness, and sometimes it is. There are moments of that. And there are moments of absolute misery, despair, like hell. It's true. I mean, every human being has that reality. Yeah. I just realized that there's 2 people. There's the people that pretend that that isn't real and the people that tell the truth and acknowledge that it is. 100%. And I have those moments all the time and I joke about it, but I'm dead serious. Like I tell my coaching group, I'm like, there are days where I want to burn everything to the ground. Like days where I'm like, why am I doing any of this? I don't really care about you people. I don't care about my businesses. I don't care about the Lamborghini. Fuck you. I'm going to burn it all to the ground. I have those days regularly. Now there'll be people that go, well, Sean, I have a system that you could use. Or if you just rub crystals on your nipples, then you'll feel better and it'll never happen. And I'm like, no, you're lying because that's just truth. So for me, I choose to acknowledge that. I choose to live a life that's very outspoken and very real. And that's hard sometimes because it puts you on display and it puts your life and the ups and the downs on display for the world. But I know not just for me personally how therapeutic and how beneficial that is for me, but the ancillary benefit is that tens of thousands of people have seen that and have followed that. You know, I get messages every single day where people are like, dude, you posted this thing and it rocked me because I feel the same way. Or, dude, thank you for sharing that. I feel more normal. And I say that, you've heard me say this 1,000 times, man, inside the Lion's Den and the whole thing, like that's real. And it's very vulnerable and it's really hard for a lot of people to acknowledge it and own that space, but it's real. Mm-hmm. And so for me, taking those days and realizing they're as real as the good days, the bad days, the up days, the down days, you know, we could go down the rabbit hole for 10 hours on this conversation, but the reality is if you really want to build a big business, you're going to have to risk a lot of time, energy, and money. And along that process, you're going to get your face kicked in. You're going to lose. I've lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. But what I keep reminding people of is I had to make them to lose them. Yeah. I had to make them to lose them. And so I'm on this quest of, I'm not playing this game not to lose. I'm just constantly trying to win. And so when I take an L or I get kicked in the face, you step back, how did I not move? How did I not, parry to slip that jab, or you get popped in the nose and your first thought is, okay, what do I do better next time to not get hit by that jab? Right. It's the same thing in life, same thing in business, same thing with your relationships.
It's not a failure, it's always a lesson.
Yeah, it's always a lesson. I've asked this question from stage, and you probably heard me say this, I don't believe in failure.
Yeah.
I don't believe it exists.
Doesn't exist, no.
Because the truth of the matter is, if you learn something from any experience, good or bad, it's education.
Yeah.
And education is what leads you to the path of perfection. Education is what leads you to wealth. Education is what leads you to happiness. And so if you think about the darkest, hardest times of your life, I'd be willing to bet every single person listening to this can look at that period of time and say, holy shit, I learned more there than anywhere else. Yeah. But we avoid that place. And that's the irony of it, is we're avoiding the darkness, yet we know the darkness is where lessons are found.
And exactly.
And so now I joke about it. I don't like it. I don't choose it. But instead of running from the darkness, I just grab a camping chair and I'm like, I just sit there. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like the storm is fucking going crazy. I'm not just sitting there idle, but like I'm just sitting there going, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? What am I not doing that I need to be doing? What am I not feeling or seeing or experiencing that I need to be? And so for me, I love those moments. I don't ask for them, but I truly love them because they teach me the most.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, people run away from, the darkness, right? But the thing is, usually that's where the most pain comes, and that's what change happens. Like that's when we're forced to in a sense.
Well, you don't have to though. That's where I think That's where I think a lot of people get stuck. Is a lot of people feel. I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and this was really important. And this is going down the rabbit hole. And you can use this if you want or not. But he was struggling with depression, and he's like, I hate being in these dark periods of time. And he's like, I'm trying this and I'm trying this and I'm trying this medication and that medication. I said, stop for a second. I said, why is it that you hate this darkness so much? And we're sitting at dinner and his wife was there, my wife was there. And I said, why is it that you're trying to run away from this darkness so much? And there was kind of this pause and he didn't really have an answer for it. And this wasn't a trick question. I said, perhaps for a second, like you running away from this darkness is what's causing you so much frustration. Yeah. Perhaps that's what's causing you so much anxiety because you feel bad or wrong or I shouldn't be here or this isn't good. And yet you and I both know that in that darkness is where the lesson is found. Mm-hmm. I said, so while you avoid it and run and medicate and sedate from this place, you're literally inducing this pain and this frustration on yourself. I said, why don't you just step into it?
Yeah.
And it was kind of this, he knows this and he knew it, but when you reframe it that way, again, I don't wake up saying, all right, God, bring it on. Give me the thunderstorms today. Let's fucking have it. I'm all about it. I don't do that. But I realize at 45 years old, after living through storms and life, that instead of running from it, I step into it.
Yeah.
And when you step into it, then you're welcoming the lesson. And when you learn the lesson, you can't really look at anything as failure. Is me losing millions of dollars failure? No, I learned ways not to do business. I learned ways about economics that I never would have learned in an Ivy League school, right?
Yeah.
Was my divorce a failure? No, I learned certain things and many things about myself, about love and connection and passion and empathy that I didn't know. You know what I mean? So everything leading me up to this point today, literally sitting at this table, has been an education for me. And it's taught me something that's made me a better man.
So now we've talked about lessons and, quote unquote failures. A lot of people might not know, or they maybe do know, you actually had a pretty prolific career in the real estate industry, like with REOs, right?
Yeah.
REO properties. And you had, what was the station your TV show was on?
Well, we shot a pilot for HGTV.
That's right.
We were going to do a series with HGTV, but we were on a couple different news stations and lots of different stuff.
Yeah. You dominated there for a while.
Well, dude, I started in mortgages in my mid-20s, early 20s. I started a mortgage company with a buddy of mine, and we crushed it. And I started parlaying that money that I was making into real estate and into developing. And then, because we had done mortgages and knew that market so well, this is 2004, 2005, 2006. When 2008 rolled around and everything exploded.
Yeah.
Some of my stuff, that's where my bankruptcy came in, is I had personally guaranteed over $12 million of real estate developments, which the banks were like, yeah, we like developments still, but we're not going to do them.
Yeah.
We're going to back out of them. And a lot of developers lost their asses, which I was in that. But the flip side was all of these foreclosures and all of this REO started coming. And I had built this network of people. And so I had agents literally throwing me deals all day long. I started going to tax foreclosure auctions and real estate auctions and, in 13 different states, between 2008 to 2013, we did almost 4,000 flips, 4,000 transactions between purchasing, selling, rehabbing, renting. We had a fairly large real estate portfolio. And
to give some perspective on that, the average agent only does maybe 5 deals a year.
Yeah, we did 3,700. I went to one auction and bought almost 500 properties in a 4-day auction.
That is wild.
Yeah, we were pretty big. I had 171 employees. We were doing $1 million+ a week in sales. We were flipping houses every 30 days. We were buying them, rehabbing them, flipping them, keeping some of them. It was really fun. So I joke with people, but I played Monopoly with real money in real life.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I fucking loved it.
So being obviously, I'm in real estate, and that's kind of what everything that I'm doing is about. What made you want to take Utah as like your home base? Like, what about this state is either special or you don't like?
Utah's rad. I moved to Utah when I was in high school. My parents split up, and my mom decided to move out here from Washington, D.C., which is where I was raised. And we've been here ever since. I mean, I've traveled the world. I've lived other places. I served a Mormon mission in Montana and fell in love with Montana. I lived in California for a little bit. But Utah's always been home for me, literally for the last 25 years or so. And I really love the state. I love being outdoors. So the recreation out here is ridiculous. I mean, you have mountains, you have lakes. I can be boating and skiing and, four-wheeling and dirt biking.
Right here.
Yeah, I can literally jump on my Razor with my sons and be up a canyon in 15 minutes in literally the middle of the Rocky Mountains, some of the most beautiful terrain in the world. But I also love the environment. I love the economy of it. I love that it's booming and it's growing. You have Silicon Slopes, which is phenomenal. I mean, there's more tech happening. You've got 2 phenomenal universities here. So the talent pool is great from an employer standpoint. There's wicked smart people all over the place to hire and build your companies with. But I love the environment. I'm a seasoned guy. My wife hates the cold. She wants to live where it's 90 degrees all day long, and that's totally fine because she just wants to be in a bikini all day. But I love the fall. I love the winter. I love the spring. I love seasons. I grew up in seasons in DC. But Utah's a rad spot. I mean, the people, the culture, the environment, the economy, of all of the places that I've been, this is the place that I really truly love and call home. But I also think too, as a caveat to that, you can do that anywhere. Yeah. Home is what you make it. I could move anywhere and do that. But I will say that Utah's a really special place. It's a really cool place.
A lot of money's being invested. So when you said tech, I mean, we have 14 billion for Texas Instruments down.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
It's insane. That's a lot of, so there's going to be an incredible amount of economic boom.
Oh, it's happening like crazy right now.
So say a young family's moving here, like what's your sentiment on the market as far as like rates and all that? Like what's your kind of idea?
I don't worry about any of that stuff, man. I don't worry about, a guy named Dolph DeRoos, he was partners with Robert Kiyosaki, and he wrote one of the books in Rich Dad Poor Dad series. And I used to do all of his mortgages back in the day. And he told me something that I've never forgotten. I mean, this is 15, 16, 17, 18 years ago. He said, Sean, the deal of a lifetime comes across my desk once a week. And I thought about that. I'm like, it's true, man. Like, you can always chase something. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I don't care everybody loves low interest rates and likes to not pay interest and stuff like that. But
of course, yeah.
If you're a capitalist and you're smart and you're savvy and I'm playing this game, you have a short-term plan and a long-term plan, you can do whatever you want anywhere. I mean, I've made money in real estate in up markets and down markets. I've made money in sideways markets. I've made money when markets really aren't going anywhere. I've made money when, interest rates were like 1%. I've made money when they're 9%. And so I think anybody that has any type of sophistication in them realizes that you can do anything you want in any type of market. But I definitely think a young family coming to Utah, if you were to set up here and play the long game, you're going to win, period. Utah's always going to win. It's always, and that's the real estate market, period. It's always going to go up.
100%.
It always has and it always will, period. End of story. That's why show me a billionaire and I will show you somebody that says invest in real estate. Show me a millionaire, real estate. Everybody.
Why do you think all the hedge funds have so much?
That's exactly how it is. Yeah. So, but they also understand too, something that I didn't understand when I was young, which is the long game. I was always playing the short game because I was making so much money in the short game. I think back, man, if I knew at 20 what I know now, I'd be worth however many billions of dollars, right? And I chuckle at that and I laugh. But the truth is, if you're a young family and you're thinking about where do I want to set up, where do I want to call home, Utah's got a phenomenal education system, a great culture, and a great environment. There's some really, really, really good, caring people here. You're gonna find jerks anywhere you go. But the market is good. The economics stimulus is something that I've never seen anywhere in any other state. And when you're talking about the biggest companies on the planet, bringing headquarters and sub-headquarters here to Utah, everything from Facebook to Google to American Express to Apple to Microsoft, they're all setting up here. And that tells you something because they're not dumb. Nope. If you want to be smart, just follow what the really smart guys do. And if they're setting up here, that kind of tells you something, right? And when they're growing here, it should tell you something. So
major growth.
I don't think you can go wrong. I think Utah's a brilliant place to be and a really special place to have a family and to set up roots.
There you go. You can't deny it. So hopefully you guys got some incredible nuggets out here. Dude, Sean, you never cease to amaze me.
Thanks, bro. I try. I try really hard. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, that's it, my friends. And stay tuned for next week because I got some big stuff coming for you. Wow, what an interview. That one was Sean, a little nerve-wracking. I was slightly nervous. Hopefully you guys got some really good value out of that. And then also meeting with a couple of the locals at the Suite Burrito. Obviously Scott is a huge personality himself. Stay tuned for next week. So I jump into Harriman and start talking about the amenities there and what it has to offer. And obviously talk with the mayor, show you some businesses, and do the whole thing. So without further ado, my favorite homes of the week.